How's everybody doing today? We're going to do a quick install and overview of the Skidoo. Grab 'em here. The Skidoo rail reinforcements. So they look pretty cool. It's all cast aluminum, so it's pretty lightweight, and looks like a little bit extra rigidity to the rails. This is a 2020 Backcountry XRS, so we do a little flatland ride and stuff like that where I'm at. So sometimes it can be a little light snow conditions, and you never know what you're gonna run into. So a little extra safety for when you're playing off trail and all that stuff. So we'll throw them on and we'll show you what we got to do here. Alright, so from what it looks here, the way it places in, it's got this square cutout that clears the bump stop here. And then what we're going to have to do, because this is a 146, it's a little bit shorter than maybe some of the Summits and stuff like that. I'm going to have to remove the one nut that holds this bogie here. And then I believe that's it. It's got a large hole clearance for this cross support shaft here. And then it comes with all the hardware for the rest of the other bolts. So I'll pull that one nut off here, and then we'll come back with you and show you what we gotta do next. So alright, so what I did was there was the two bolts that held on this bogie wheel, which has that aluminum bracket on the back here. So that's set on the back side of the rail right here. So in order to access or to get the support on, I had to remove the two bolts instead of just removing the one. You could probably get away with just getting the one out of the way, but I took both just so it gets the whole thing out of your way, a little easier to install. So I set that aside, and then the bolt size for that's the top one that holds the bogie wheel as well. It's a 10 mil head and nut for that. So you'll do that on that side, and then I'll find that makes it a bit easier. Oh, excuse me. Find that makes it a bit easier to slide it on from there. So already just set in place. It looks pretty sweet. We're going to, I know it might be weird on my part, but I'm just going to take a tiny bit of grease and just slide it in the slots and any touch surfaces for where it's going to touch the skid. I don't know, it might just help with any vibrations or flexing and stuff like that. Maybe takes away the powder coat. I don't know, it might be a weird thing on my part, but just going to put a light coat of grease on there, just kind of help keep stuff from wearing or flexing or whatever. You can do that if you like. If not, it's not something that's mandatory, and we'll come back to you with the next step. Alright, so I put a tiny bit of grease on the inside anywhere it touches. Again, that's probably a little excessive, but you never know down the road if I decide to take them off, put them on the next sled, or who knows, right? So it just helps maybe do a little protection on against corrosion, even though it is powder coated, and then also any vibration stuff maybe helps keep it from wearing through the powder coat on the rails themselves. Again, that's just me. You're welcome to do it. If not, no big deal. And then you're going to be supplied with these Allen head bolts. They are, what's that? That is, pardon me. Does that say a 6 mil bolt with a 13 lock nut? So again, they're powder coated and they're probably pretty darn safe, but as an extra level of anti-corrosion or whatever, it's gonna be a tiny dab of grease on these threads, and then I'll set them all in place and snug them up, and we'll come back to you with the next. Alright, so I've put a light bit of grease in all the threads and set the 1, 2, 3 Allen head bolts in. Again, it's a 6 mil, and then the nut on the back side's a 13 mil. And then once that's set in place, actually another good reason, I don't believe I added before, this bracket, it's easier more accessible to get to the bolt head on the back side. Let me grab the light here. Again, there's that lower nut there that helps snug down the brace. The bolt head on the back side of the rail, it's tucked in on a little recess. So again, it makes it another reason why you might want to pull this bracket all the way off. There's a long through bolt that holds this bogie wheel on. I just have it set in place right now. But there's a little dust cap that goes in the end. Where's the dust cap here? Obviously, most people I'm sure know what a dust cap looks like, but that's on the inside of the bogie wheel. Tiny little screwdriver to poke that off. That'll come off. It'll give you access to your 10 mil bolt head, and then you'll undo this. This bogie wheel comes off nice and easy. And then the same thing on the bottom, the 10-10, that pulls that off. Just a note with it though, because now that it has this brace around it, what I did was I used two 10 mil ratchets instead of a 10 mil wrench and a ratchet, because the wrench, it's tough to get the a wrench head around that because now it's in the recess for the brace. So just a small tidbit there: when you're going back together, you use two 10 mil wrenches, or a gun and a wrench ratchet. Sorry, excuse me, two 10 mil ratchet wrenches, and then you're good to go there. So everything's just kind of set in place. It's just finger set for now, but I'll come back and snug it. I'm not sure if there's a torque spec on it. I'm just gonna go for a good hand snug, but if I can find the install manual, I will 100% put that in the description below, so it's there for anybody reference to make life easier for install. I do believe on the longer rails you don't have to go as far as taking this bogie off, but that's from my rough understanding of it. I may be wrong, but because there's more space in between, that all you have to do is just put the three support bolts, maybe four, and then you're good to go. So that's that stuff, and I'll come back with you with our final thoughts. Cheers. Alright, so here we have it. I got all the Allen head bolts snug down. I got the two 10 mils for the bogie wheel snug back up, and that's it. She's in place. So it's a pretty straightforward install. There's no hole drilling or nothing like that. Just to mention as well, Skidoo even goes as far as giving you new lock nuts for the 10 mil bolts for the bogie support there. And then also it does come with extra Allen head bolts. I'm assuming for the Summit, stuff like that with longer tracks, you'll want to run install this one extra Allen head bolt where that one would be. But yeah, it looks pretty easy install. Looks pretty slick, and I'm sure it'll add some more support for these rails. So when you're out partying in the backcountry, whatever, you don't have to worry about anything, inadvertently bend any rails or anything like that. And we'll come back with a later review, and we'll see how she does. But they look pretty stout. Pretty happy with how they look and how it goes in, and hopefully it'll help some people out and get at least a look at what it'll do to install, whether you want to get them or not. And I'll throw a link in the description to go to the Skidoo website for those as well. I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but just a little easier for you guys to access it if you're looking for them. And yeah, hopefully help some people out. We'll run the camera around there, but yeah, hopefully helps people out. And just a quick easy install, a few bolts, about what, 15-20 minutes, and it's obviously the identical thing on the other rail. And I think that covers everything. So hopefully it helps you out again for like the 5th time I'm saying that, but that's what we're here for, and we'll go for a rip and hope you all enjoy, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Sorry, before I end off the video there, I realized doing the left-hand side, there is something a bit different from the left side. So I even double-checked on the instructions. So the bogie wheel holder there on the left side of the sled, it's actually in the backward position. There's the two sets of holes. They have it offset. On the right side there, when I initially showed you, it's set up in the front holes. So I double-checked the instruction, and it does recommend you move to the front, because when you put the I'll show you here. When you go to put the reinforcement on the bracket, the stud part that sticks out past the nut, it's too far. It doesn't let you slide in all the way. So then once you move that bracket hole to the front, it lines up with the hole again, just like on the other side, and you're in business. So I just wanted to add that quickly for if anybody runs into that issue as well. Yeah, cheers.